Welcome back to this box modes lesson. This one's going to be on the third scale, Phrygian, the third box. If you don't know what this lesson's all about, I suggest you go back and watch the first two videos so that you understand what the hell I'm trying to teach you. Otherwise it might be a little bit confusing, and you need to know the other two scales for this to really work. So go learn all that. Once you do, come back to this video and then we shall learn the Phrygian scale. I don't know why I'm pointing over there. There is no Phrygian scale over there. So the Phrygian box is this. And that comes after the first two boxes, which is Ionian and Dorian. Then Phrygian. You can hopefully hear how they get higher each time. So the Phrygian box. 7, 8, 10 on the low E, starting on the low E. 7, 8, 10. Then 7, 9, 10 on the A. 7, 9, 10 on the D as well. Then 7, 9, 11 on the G. Then 8, 10, 12. 8, 10, 12 on the B and E. So 8, 10, 12 on the B, 8, 10, 12 on the high E. Seven, 8, 10, 7, 9, 10, 7, 9, 10, 7, 9, 11, 8, 10, 12, 8, 10, 12. Phrygian scale. Dun diddly dun dun. Slowly. So as I said in the Dorian video, you should notice that these scales share some notes, and they have a lot of notes in common. Pretty much half the scale, half the Phrygian scale is also half the Dorian scale, so they're kind of mashed together so you can play them with ease, knowing where they are in relation to each other. Now another thing these boxes can help you with is figuring out what key you're in. So let's say you've just written a riff and you have no idea what chords you can use with that riff or anything like that. If you can figure out what key you're in, then you know what chords you can use. So let's say I just wrote this random riff. All those notes were in the three scales that we've done. Phrygian. Now we're going into Dorian. Into Ionian. And once I recognised that that riff came out of a Phrygian box and a Dorian box and a Ionian box, I can see that they came from G Ionian overall. But just because my riff came out of those certain boxes doesn't necessarily mean that I'm playing in G major or G Ionian. The overall tone and the mode will be determined by what you play with that riff. But that's kind of deep theory that I may go into, I probably will go into in the last video of this series. So once you've played these scales a million times, you'll start to notice the patterns within them and you'll get to learn them, and this will help you to no end. So let's say the Dorian scale, for example, the A, D and G strings, it's all the same. It's a whole tone apart. So whole tone, next string is whole tone, next string is whole tone. So that little kind of rectangle shape that I've got here, that's also in different places. It's up here in the Mixolydian scale. Not that we've learned that one yet, but when we get there you'll see it. And then again, it's in the Phrygian scale. The G string is altered by a half step, so it's not exactly in the same place, but the whole tone phase is still there, it's still the same. So the pattern is exactly the same, and you'll get to notice that once you play these a lot. So once you know all three of these boxes, Ionian, Dorian and Phrygian, just have a jam between them like I did in the last video. Just mess around between them, maybe record a chord progression if you can, and then jam over the top of it, and you'll see how much easier it is to just move between the boxes and know where you are.